Tonight, I don't want to speak too much. We have two amazing people here to join us. I'm quite privileged and honoured to have Professor Abdul Halim and Director and Principal of Webley. They will say a few short words about what does Ramadan mean to them. First of all, we'll kick off with Webley, then afterwards we'll have Professor Abdul Halim, and then we'll have the call to prayer. For those of you who like to pray, you can join us, and afterwards we'll be serving the food. So thank you very much. Welcome to the both. Thank you very much.
Salam alaikum. Can you all hear me at the back? Yeah. So if I start speaking softly, just tell me I'll shout. Yeah, thank you. It's a real pleasure and honour to be here this evening. I have never, this is a first for me, I have never broken the fast. So for me, this is a first for you. This is unique, but for me, it's a new thing. So, no, only some of the day. And I was asked to speak briefly about what Ramadan means to me. And I'm ashamed to say that when I came to SOAS, which is 7 years ago now, Ramadan meant very little to me. I knew it was a period of fasting, and that was probably about all I did know. I did not know it was a period of spiritual reflection, devotion, and worship. But one of the things I did when I came to SOAS was I decided I was going to read lots of work by SOAS academics. So I was given examples, I was given books about art history, I was given articles by Marxist economists, I was given book chapters on Asian prisons. That's just a sample. I read these things, but the very first book I read, you know this because I've said this before, the very first book I read was Professor Abdul Halim's translation of the Quran. And he's a man I've come to respect immensely as a scholar, but also as a kind of thoughtful individual. And his translation seems to me to greatly increase the prospect that those who don't speak Arabic come to understand Islam. It's certainly transformational for me. Again, my experience was reading the Quran, even in Muhammad's wonderful translation, was quite challenging. I did not find it an easy thing to do. And I asked you about this, and you said I needed to think of it as a series of sermons. I decided I had too linear a mind. I was expecting it to go like this. It doesn't go like this. Returning to themes, returning to reflections, returning to nuances. And when I started doing that, then it made more sense to me. And I appreciate that in order to truly understand the Quran, you should read it in Arabic. But for those of us who are too old and too slow to learn a new language, we have to read in translation. So that's what we did. So what did I learn? I learned that fasting is not what Ramadan is about. It's a means to an end. It's to make one more mindful of God. Ramadan's about community, it's about communication, it's about understanding oneself, it's about understanding others, it's about compassion, it's about mercy. And it seems to me it has a message for everybody. And that's why I think this, Ramadan 10, is such a brilliant project. It's such a brilliant idea. I asked Omar earlier whose idea it was. I said, well, why haven't we had this idea before? Why have we not had this? And it's so good to see everybody here, out here in the middle of SOAS. It's a brilliant idea. It has a simple aim, I think, that we at SOAS all share, which is increasing understanding and goodwill amongst people around the world. We often say at SOAS that, in simple terms, we try and explain 2/3 of the world to the other third of the world. That's a very simplifying way of putting it. But what we really are in the business of is trying to understand, through understanding, change, and through understanding, improve the world. And again, I think that again is what this is all to do. I think that commitment to understanding for me is key, because it's understanding that enables us to understand the behaviour and beliefs of others, and makes us recognise our common humanity. And I just want to finish with a different thought. Many of you, not all of you, will be SOAS students, and you'll know that up there we have a Japanese roof garden. How many of you have gone up to the Japanese roof garden in your time? Okay. How many of you at SOAS have never been to the Japanese roof garden? Now they're too ashamed to say, look, lots. Okay? Well, if you haven't, make sure you go up there, okay? The garden is a place of quiet contemplation, as I think you'll agree, and I'd encourage you to go up and look around and reflect. And the garden is dedicated to forgiveness. There's a kanji character on the granite basin up there. That's what it means, forgiveness. And learning to forgive, I think, in all sorts of ways, big and small, is very important for us if we want to live in harmony. So please visit the garden, and please think when you go up there about the importance of forgiveness for us all. Thank you very much.